Hello, this is Flurry Moon. Welcome back to my channel. So, I've been seeing quite a few debates and controversies over toys on TikTok specifically. I love discussing toys and I love the drama. So I thought it would be fun to take a deep dive into these two incredibly relevant and current dramas surrounding our favorite little collectible toys. Today, we will be going over the details of the Sylvaniandrama TikTok account and their lawsuit with Epic, and of course the discourse and demonic debates over Labubus and what they're really all about. Let's just get right into it. So if you're a real one and watch till the very end of my Calico Critters deep dive from however many months ago, or you just consume thousands of TikToks daily, chances are you're aware of the Sylvaniandrama TikTok account. This account consists of short stories almost in the style of a soap opera, filled with drama, heartbreak, backstabbing, and even death, all acted out with Calico Critters, also known as Sylvanian families. If you don't know, Sylvanian families were created back in 1985 by Epic and have been decently popular since then. The mix of small flocked animals with vintage-inspired clothes, accessories, and dollhouses had made the brand stand out amongst other toys over the years, never really steering too far away from that old-timey aesthetic, with the exception of a few modern releases here and there. If you don't know, these are them. They're just little fuzzy creatures, little cuties. They're kind of vintage looking, and they're all around well liked, I would say. There's not a lot of people who really dislike Calico Critters, you know? Anyway, back to the Sylvaniandrama TikTok account. This mix of absurd events and the matter-of-fact dialogue spoken by the cutest little animals you'll ever see in your entire life made the account quickly become a hit and a major topic of discussion. What are we drinking today? I have a Dunkin' Ice Latte with 2 pumps of butter pecan and 2 pumps of blueberry. It's actually really good. If you know Dunkin', you know it's a gamble. My location is definitely that. They slay it sometimes and other times it's interesting. With 2.5 million followers as this video is being filmed, their most liked video stands at 4.4 million likes and 21.8 million views. So what is the typical structure of these videos and why are they so popular and now controversial? Sylvaniandrama's first video, posted in January of 2021, featured a story of shock and betrayal between a married couple, a koala, and a bear. The wife tells her husband she and the kids unfortunately can't make it to the husband's birthday, when in reality, she and the kids are planning to surprise him by showing up. What they don't know is that he, thinking nobody is home, brings another woman back to his place. He then makes out with her in front of his wife, who he doesn't even know is there. But I bet you could never guess what happens, and I'm so serious when I say this. The husband and wife go outside to talk, and at a shocking turn of events, a beekeeper's bees escape and sting the husband to death. Meanwhile, all of this is happening while Afterglow by Ed Sheeran is playing in the background, and it really is just a timeless masterpiece, and it really sets the tone for the rest of this account. I have to say though, my personal favorite of theirs is still the famous belly button piercing video, where the cat calls her friend to ask if she wants to get piercings with her, but turns out the friend is actually currently being held hostage. They all hop in the car to rescue, but the cat's ex-boyfriend is blocking the road, so they throw a toilet at him and tie him to the car for some reason. The hostage holders do not take PayPal, unfortunately, so they have to stop at an ATM and use the beaver's mom's card because she's in a coma, so it's okay. Their hostage friend cannot drop their location because they have no storage. So the kidnappers tell her to delete some apps, but not Facetune. Again, all of this is happening while Fortunate Son is playing in the background, and I seriously wish I could play it for you guys, but it's just all around such a vibe, and it's definitely my favorite. And users loved these videos, and they still do. The thought process behind this work of art alone deserves multiple Oscars. I need a Hulu original about Sylvaniandrama. Babe, wake up, new Sylvaniandrama just dropped. Now, what do we know about the creator herself? I really don't want to go too in on her personally. Her name is out there, but Sylvaniandrama herself is a creator based based in Ireland and in her early 20s, but I do believe when she started doing this account, she was like 19 or something, so she's pretty young. It's also important to note that I do believe the Creator Fund for TikTok specifically is not a thing in Ireland. Basically, the Creator Fund is how you make money on TikTok. If you live in any of these countries that don't support the Creator Fund for TikTok, it does not matter if you get 1 million views, it doesn't matter if you get 20 million views or 100,000 likes or whatever, you're not gonna see a single dime. The only way you can make money off of TikTok if you live in a country that doesn't have the Creator Fund is through partnerships or sponsors reaching out to you and trying to do a collab and paying you to talk about whatever they want you to talk about their brand. So keep that in mind. Now, coincidentally, not long after Sylvaniandrama's success, it seemed as though Sylvanian Family's The Toy brand started popping up a little bit more on social media with blind bag unboxings, custom critter designs, calico critter shopping, and basically just having a larger presence on social media and TikTok specifically. Now, I'm not here to say that this is all because of Sylvaniandrama. I personally think they played a part in the kind of comeback of calico critters, but also I think TikTok as a whole brought it back. Girlies started being a little bit more vocal about our love for trinkets and small toys, as we'll talk about later. Blind bags, Labubus, Littlest Pet Shops, Sanrio, like anything Sanrio blind box, like we were all over it. So I do think that in general played a part. And this is coming from someone who didn't really get into calico critters fully until around 2022. I had a couple from my childhood that I enjoyed. So this isn't coming from someone who was a huge fan of the brand and then saw it pop off due to this creator. So I wasn't really there to see that happen as someone who already was a fan. I'm just saying. Anyway, when Sylvaniandrama was created, the creator of the account was posting weekly and sometimes even multiple times a day. Although the frequent activity died out that same year as the creator began posting once a week, then once a month, and sometimes fans would go months waiting for a new upload. However, this would not discourage fans of Sylvaniandrama from loyally commenting on every upload, patiently waiting for the next short to drop. A slight shift in content would take place, I want to say around 2023. Initially doing some light research on this, I thought Sylvaniandrama's first sponsorship was on December 15th, 2023 with their Netflix sponsorship, but now that I'm looking at it, I do believe that their Netflix sponsorships are the only ones that are still up on their channel, probably due to what's happening right now. Okay, you guys, so literally things are happening right now because yesterday when I was editing this video, all of the Netflix sponsorships were still up from what I could tell, even the Squid Game one, but now all of them are gone except part 2 of The Crown for some reason. Just keep in mind everything about this lawsuit is still going on, so if anything in this video ages poorly or something, that's why. But at the time of filming this, all the Netflix sponsorships, from what I could tell, were still up. Their first sponsorship that is still up on their account is a sponsored video with none other than Netflix. This would be a 10-video series inspired by the Netflix original, The Crown. The comment section on these series are honestly shocked and just surprised that this silly, yet, I mean, amazing account would get sponsored by the Netflix, just considering how out of pocket these videos are. Most of the comments are still extremely supportive and excited for Sylvaniandrama to get that bag, if you will. As a fan, you love the content, and a sponsor typically makes it a lot easier for your favorite creator to continue pumping out that content. Aside from Netflix, the account also had sponsored videos for Sephora, Burberry, Hilton, Taco Bell, and Kate Spade. So I think it was safe to say Sylvaniandrama was doing pretty well for herself. Like, these are not little sponsors, okay? These are big names. Now, okay, it's hard to find any of these comments due to recent events. I remember seeing a few comments on some of their recent videos discussing the fact that they love this account, but it's disappointing seeing Sylvaniandrama only post when they have a sponsorship. Anyway, just something to note. Sylvaniandrama would post for seemingly the very last time on January 19th, 2025 in the form of a Squid Game ad for Netflix. Again, huge collaboration. Netflix, we're talking about. Squid Game is like the #1 show on Netflix, or I don't know if it is, but it should be. Now, it wasn't out of the ordinary for Sylvaniandrama to not post for months on end, so nobody really knew anything was wrong until around a week ago, when news started to break that Sylvaniandrama was being sued by Epic, aka the creators of Sylvanian Families, aka the toys that Sylvaniandrama is using to make these videos. This was a pretty big shock for fans, as Sylvaniandrama has been completely silent throughout this whole thing, although the lawsuit was technically filed back in April. Now, there is a lot of misinformation about this lawsuit, so let's try to break it down as a girly who knows little to nothing about the law. So again, if I get anything wrong, please bear with me. I'm trying my best. I'm just a girly who's wanting to talk about the drama, okay? Epic has accused the Irish creator of copyright infringement, trademark infringement, and unfair competition. They claim that the user pretty much used their products without permission, and for commercial purposes at that. Not only that, but Epic is claiming that Sylvaniandrama has caused, quote, irreparable injury to Epic's goodwill and reputation, which implies that not only do they have a problem with Sylvaniandrama making money off of their product, but they kind of have a problem with the content that she's creating. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's kind of inappropriate, it's kind of risque, kind of wild, and that's what makes it so funny. Now, again, I don't know much about the law, okay? Let's get that straight. However, and I may get some hate for this, I'm prepared because I feel like I'm gonna have a different take than most. And you will very rarely catch me rooting for a big corporation, especially against a smaller creator. Now, I mean, Sylvaniandrama to me is not a small creator. She has 2 million followers and is collaborating with Netflix and Taco Bell. But I mean, compared to Epic, a ginormous corporation, you get what I mean. But to me, and I'm trying to tread lightly because I know people have really strong opinions on this, some of this lawsuit makes sense to me. Now hear me out and give me a second, okay, please. Although I would have considered these videos fair use, it doesn't exactly surprise me that a sponsored video with the main focus being toys that this person didn't create would cause trouble with the company who's selling the toys. You're using that product for your own monetary value, and some people may think that Netflix or Taco Bell are collaborating with Sylvanian Families, the brand. Although I don't necessarily agree wholeheartedly with going against a creator who's just having fun, it does make sense to me. Like, I'm not looking at this appalled, you know? As this TikToker by the name of Mocha Mensch, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's Moda Mensch. Sorry, I low-key think I have dyslexia. I'm sorry. Very cleverly points out, Sophie GTV, the creator of LPS Popular, would never get sued for making LPS Popular the series, even though there are some inappropriate themes that she's acting out with Hasbro's toys. Hasbro would never stop that from happening. However, if she began sneaking some Colgate ads in these episodes, then Hasbro would probably have a problem with that. It's all copyright stuff. So to clarify, Sylvaniandrama is not getting sued for just playing with toys, okay? In fact, it seems like Epic has given her a heads up a few times that this is not okay. In fact, Epic had served the creator a copyright notice back in October 2023, resulting in some of these videos being taken down. I'm not here to say Sylvaniandrama deserves any of this. That is totally not my take at all. It just doesn't really surprise me, you know? However, on the other hand, the whole caused irreparable damage to our reputation is such bullshit to me. No one in their right mind is looking at a set of calico critters in store and not purchasing them due to a TikToker making some stupid videos. To my stupid eyes, that's what it looks like they're trying to imply. I would imagine that Epic would have to go through the effort to prove that this creator specifically has caused some kind of negative effect on the brand. And as fans of Sylvaniandrama are quick to say, it seems to be the exact opposite. Fans have since flooded the Sylvaniandrama account with support and outcry against Epic, many claiming they didn't even know Calico Critters until Sylvaniandrama came along. I will donate to a GoFundMe to support this lawsuit. It's because of you that probably most people even know that these toys exist. They should be paying you for the free marketing. I'm livid at Epic. How dare they sue you? I'm so angry at them. They've cashed in on the success you've given them and are now coming for you? This is beyond disgusting. They should be thanking you for making them relevant again. I found these toys because of you. I started my collection because of you. I can't believe Epic. Honestly, never heard or seen Calico Critters until you. You started a trend of people buying them, looking at Burlington and TJ Maxx for deals, etc. Sue them back for the profit they made off your virality. Other internet users have come out in support of Epic, or at least understanding of the lawsuit. Yeah, I hate to side with the big corporations, but this seems like a blatant violation to me. She had it coming. Unusually entitled when it's not her company, used their trademarked name, made merch, and did brand deals that affect their profit or kid-friendly reputation due to what she was promoting, all while not having any of their consent to do this. Like I said, unusually entitled. I'm all for fair use and parodies, but she partnered with and made serious money with Netflix, ASOS, Sephora, Taco Bell, Burberry, and Marc Jacobs, to name a few, by using the Sylvanian brand dolls and name. Of course the parent company is gonna sue, lol. Also, the account was generating enough money for her to drop out of university and pursue Sylvaniandrama full-time. So Epic wants a cut, I'm sure. Edit, I really like Sylvaniandrama too, and I'm disappointed, but absolutely not surprised. As soon as she started making money, it was only a matter of time. I love, first of all, love Calico Critters, love Sylvanian families, and I love this account. Like, if you watched my last video, I think this creator is genuinely like a comedic genius. Like, I'm not even kidding. I still 100% support her. I'm just looking at this, or trying to look at this with some nuance, and to me, knowing kind of some things about copyright rules, it makes sense. I'm willing to change my stance. That's just how I currently feel at the moment. But I do think, and I'm not seeing talks of this enough, I feel. I also think there's something to say about these massive corporations who had to have known that sponsoring this account would cause some trouble with Epic. I can imagine they know more about copyright laws than this college student who's in her early 20s. It feels kind of icky to me, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I do believe Epic and Sylvaniandrama are hoping to come to a settlement, so I really hope everything goes well. I hope one day she'll continue to post, whether that's with Sylvanian families or maybe a different toy, or literally even if she changes up her whole style. I just think she's so amazing. I hope everything ends smoothly for everyone involved, I guess. With that, what do you guys think? Do you think Epic is being incredibly greedy? Do you think that Sylvaniandrama had it coming? Let's move on to our second and last topic of this video, and that is Labubus. I honestly didn't think I would be talking about Labubus anytime soon. I feel like everyone and their mother has a take on this. Are they ugly and overrated and feeding into overconsumption? Or should we just let people enjoy things? Life is short after all, and if I spend like 60% of my life at a 9 to 5, I'm gonna spend the money I made on something that makes me happy. I understand both takes. And I do think two things can be true at once. The TikTok discourse, scalpers and scammers, tricking people into spending hundreds to thousands of dollars on this little terrifying keychain, fake Labubus or Lafufus, and of course the demonic allegations.
Some serious demonic energy.
Let's get into Labubus and why they are so controversial. I'm not gonna get too into the history of these things, but just to give some background, Labubus were first created in 2015 by Kasing Lung, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, as characters characters from his series The Monsters. However, it wasn't until 2019 when Pop Mart, the Beijing toy store, got a hold of these toys and began selling them. Pop Mart, if you don't know, is famous for their blind boxes, which if you don't know, places will just sell a little thing, surprise, little figure or plushie or whatever it may be, and you don't know what you're getting until you already buy it. So what are Labubus? These are little devilish elf monster things with mischievous grins, mischievous, and sharp teeth. They are typically in fuzzy little outfits of different colors and different facial expressions. You can also clip them onto like your bag or whatever you want. What are my thoughts on Labubus? Nobody asked. I feel like you guys can trust me to give a fairly non-biased take. I kind of don't really feel anything towards them. I personally think they are ugly. However, I understand love for little collectibles, and I do love a good creature in a costume. Like, I love that vibe. So I see it, like, I understand, it's just not for me. I myself am very into Yukis, which I believe are also sold at Pop Mart. They're kind of like the more niche Labubu type. I swear I'm not trying to be quirky and different. I got these before I even really knew what a Labubu was. I'll show you right now. They're these little baby elf things in little outfits. It's basically kind of like a Labubu, but to me, personally, I think they're a lot cuter. This is the bear series. So they're all dressed as bears, and she has a little toast bag, which I think is adorable. I do have them in every single color. It's not a trend to me. I find them really adorable. This is the purple. We have the cheese bear. This one specifically, I really like because it reminds me of this. This is extremely niche, but do you guys remember Barbie's Thumbelina? And they released these little dolls, and they were babies, just showing their heads, and they were like sunflowers. So this gives me a lot of nostalgia because it really reminds me of that. The pink one was the first one I got, and it is still my favorite because, I mean, look at that. The quality is really great. This is like a vinyl face, and I do believe Labubus are the same. So who am I to hate on Labubus when I have a similar thing going on? I hope this doesn't get a lot of views because I don't want them to get sold out, but also, you do you. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not a big Labubu girl. I understand though. The quality seems to be pretty nice. I understand the excitement of opening a blind box. The idea is cute. Anyway, before Labubu started gaining as much traction, blind bags have been a big topic of conversation for quite some time. You don't exactly know what figure you're gonna get until you purchase it and open it. This can be a fun surprise, and of course, it's extremely profitable for brands due to the consumer buying possibly multiple in order to get their favorite. However, this form of consumption has been heavily criticized over the years, especially within the last, I want to say, 5 years. For one, it's basically promoting gambling. It's such a waste of money if you don't end up getting the one you want, and it generally just creates waste. These blind boxes are usually quick fad trends that you buy to kind of see the hype and fit in, and then you don't look at again, and they all end up in a landfill somewhere, you know? So it's bad for your wallet, bad for the environment. Now, I know this is kind of a controversial topic, I guess, because it begs the question, what falls under collecting as a hobby, which is seen as acceptable, versus overconsumption, which is seen as bad? So let's get into the controversies. What I just kind of led us into is overconsumption. What is collecting if not consuming something excessively? You know? But with all this overconsumption talk, why is overconsumption bad? I'm no expert. This is something that I invite those who know what they're talking about to show up in the comments and educate all of us and me. Sentient Media says, overconsumption is when humans consume more resources than we produce. At the smallest scale, this occurs at the individual level, but overconsumption is more commonly measured on a countrywide, continent-wide, or planet-wide basis. We live on a finite planet that cannot support endless growth and unequitable, fuel unchecked consumption. The pressure to constantly consume is driving destructive resource extraction, pollution, and waste, and contributing to the climate and extinction crises. I am a collector. I'm a collector of little things. This is what my room looks like. I've never been a fan of minimalism. I've always had, ever since I was a kid, tons of plushies, tons of toys. Big fan of like Littlest Pet Shop and My Little Pony, and very loyal to those franchises and wanting every single one. Of course, I was a child back then. I'm a lot more responsible with my money, I'd like to think, but I'm still not perfect. I would like to say the difference between collecting as a hobby and feeding into overconsumption culture is most of what I have is on display for everyone to see, and I cherish these little plushies and toys, and I'm not saying that makes me free from criticism, but all my Littlest Pet Shops, like, that was never a trend to me. Labubus, for instance, though, are a major trend right now. Do I see this trend lasting? No. However, I do see people continuing to buy Labubus within the next few years, especially those who are genuinely interested in them. And I genuinely see no problem with people who are really interested and love their Labubus buying a few of them. Like, to me, that really doesn't feel like a big deal. However, those who just see the trend and want to kind of get in on the joke of having one and want to be trendy, and they're gonna hop on the bandwagon, and probably within the next few months we're gonna see a ton of Labubus at Goodwill and in a landfill, which donate your stuff if you don't want it. Anyway, there's the context of that. We're only human, and this isn't to say that we should all just like live with like just a bed and a cup of water, one white outfit, you know? However, I think we can all be a lot more mindful. But again, I understand. I'm a collector. I don't technically need all these plushies. But it's what makes me happy, and life sucks. Sometimes, you know, buying a little keychain is what is gonna get you through your day. So that's also something to note. We're not robots, you know, we're human, and we're just trying to be happy, you know? And when I'm talking about overconsumption, I'm not talking about someone who's, you know, on their way to work and gets a coffee every morning, you know? Maybe some people find that overconsumption, and like, that's fine. But I'm talking about these TikToks that I have seen of people with a wall full of Stanley cups, which are reusable, by the way. Reuse it. Like, what? Closets filled with skincare and hair care and these weird little body washes. Like, and when I say filled, I mean filled. I'm showing things here. Like, I am not attacking the average person. I am one of you, okay? I know I'm getting so off topic. I do think there's something to say about the fact that women are definitely the culprits in a lot of overconsumption, and I do fear this might be like the friend who's too woke meme, let me know. But I do fear that's kind of thrust upon us in some ways, because we as women are expected to, first of all, look as young as possible all the time. What is this hair doing? In society, we exist to be viewed, unfortunately. So we're always made to feel like we need the best skincare and the best hair care. Make sure you're getting shaving cream so you're hairless so that men will love you. You know, if you don't keep up with these trends, like, you're not made to feel as worthy. Again, this might be the friend who's too woke meme, but does anyone else see a pattern of crying over consumption at products mostly women are into? Is that like the worst take ever? I promise we'll get back to Labubus, I promise. But I do feel like women are held to a much different standard in a lot of ways to men. Even enjoying a toy is taken to a place of, does she even know what she's doing to the environment, to society, to the economy, to feminism? And it's like, oh my god, you will never see a man's comment section looking like that. Men are allowed to like their, you know, Pokemon, Magic, and baseball cards, and sink thousands of dollars into sports betting and their anime figurines and their this and that, but I never see about that. It's always stuff that women are into. And again, I understand we are in a lot of ways like the culprits of overconsumption. However, I do fear we're made to feel that way. This is just a thought I had, but I have a feeling people are gonna be like, Flurry, what the F are you talking about? But I'm also not trying to take the blame off of us. We should really be working on figuring out how much we actually need, because I feel like most of the stuff we buy is not something we actually need. Anyway, I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of comments hating me for this take, but I thought I'd bring it up, and hopefully I did it justice in some way, but let me know if I got anything wrong or if there's something else I should know. Let's get back to Labubus. Oh my god. Anyway, let's move on from overconsumption. I feel like I've talked way too much about something I don't know enough about, honestly. Let's move on to scalpers and scammers. This is not Labubu specific at all. In fact, any popular toy or product in general is going to have people either overselling them or even worse, scamming you completely out of your money for an unofficial product. Scalpers, if you don't know, are basically people who rush to the stores to buy, in this case, the toy. As soon as it comes out, they buy all of them. So now that there's none left for everybody else, they are forced to go online and buy one from someone selling them, and those people sell them for double, triple, sometimes quadruple the amount that they are actually worth. These are the worst people on earth. Okay, not on earth, but like as a toy collector, ooh, when I see a scalper in person. I was literally just on Facebook Marketplace this morning and saw Labubu listings for like $1,000. I'm like, and again, you'll find that for anything. I've seen Littlest Pet Shop listings for thousands of dollars, and just because they're listed that way does not mean that's what they're actually worth. Others are scamming buyers with fake Labubus or Lafufus. They kind of ate with that name, I'm not gonna lie. Like all fake toys, there are telltale signs that your Labubu is a Lafufu. So if you need a guide, I don't really know much about Labubus, but I looked into it. What I could figure out is that Lafufus, the fake Labubus, typically have ear placements that are a bit more far apart than the regular Labubus. The hand and feet placement is a bit wonky. Like, I think the hands are more jutted out outside of the plush fabric of their outfit, when a real Labubu is probably gonna look more like this. The blush pigment on their cheeks is a lot more intense in a fake Labubu. Things like that, you know? But people do not like Lafufus, okay? I've seen tons of videos of people being so upset unboxing a Labubu and they notice it's fake. I totally get that. However, this is another reason why we need to do more research into what we're buying and not just being like, oh, I want a Labubu to get on the trends and just buy the first listing we see. I literally saw a TikTok of this little girl opening a Lafufu and she noticed it was a Lafufu and she threw a fit. And I was like, I don't know. Listen, iPad kids or something else. Anyway, finally, let's get into the reason why people think Labubus are demonic. Now, this is not a new phenomenon. Literally, like, I feel like super religious people. I'm not trying to target anyone, not trying to target religious people, but you know the kind of religious people I'm talking about. The people who, the second, like, a new piece of media comes out, they are so quick to call it demonic. Like, think Harry Potter, think Pokemon. I don't know who exactly started this, but internet users have linked Labubu to the Mesopotamian folklore demon Pazuzu. And they love to use this photo side by side to show they look similar. However, although Pazuzu is a real demon character, can I call him a character? I don't know, you guys. This specific image used to tie him to Labubus is AI. That is not the real Pazuzu, so there's that.
Some people are saying they feel like they're being watched, they're waking up with scratches.
Y'all really need to stop blindly following trends and actually look into the things you're bringing into your space. These so-called cute dolls, Labubus, whatever you want to call them, are not harmless. Just because they're marketed as aesthetic or quirky doesn't mean the energy behind them is safe. Look at the symbols. X'd out eyes, death, stitched mouths, silencing, and distorted childlike features. That's not just a design choice. Those are spiritual cues. And the name? Almost identical to Pazuzu, a known demonic spirit from ancient Mesopotamian belief. That's not a coincidence. That's spiritual mockery dressed in pink. These dolls give off disturbing energy for a reason. People have reported nightmares, heavy energy, and just feeling off after having them. Dolls have always been known in spiritual practices as vessels for energy, especially negative energy. So whether you believe it or not, that's fine, but don't call it paranoia when it's actually discernment. The devil doesn't show up with horns and flames. He shows up in ways that look innocent to those who aren't paying attention. Protect your spirit, protect your space, and stop calling darkness cute. Okay, so listen, I'm not trying to bully this person, okay? You know, I'm gonna give it to them. They have a point about dolls. I feel like we've heard about, what's her name? Angelica. The fuck is her name? Annalisa? Annabelle. I don't know what just happened there, you guys. Who the fuck is Angelica? I'm not very spiritual. I'm not very religious at all, but I'm open to ideas, and I think it's very possible for some kind of evil spirit to be in a doll or a piece of furniture or anything, you know? Why not, right? But like, every single Labubu that's being, like, sent out to people, like, has a demon spirit in them. Like, it's not adding up to me. Maybe I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I think this is ridiculous. I really need to start, like, being firm in my takes. I'm just always afraid people are gonna be, like, really upset with me. But you know what? Okay, I'm not crazy for thinking this is crazy, okay? I'm open to the idea of spirits being in a doll. Can I say that? Do I think they're in Labubus? No. This is nothing shocking, as I said before. People have been calling trendy pieces of media demonic for, like, since the beginning of time, okay? But it's still just as concerning just how gullible and quick to believe everything we really are. Bringing it back to the Sylvaniandrama lawsuit from before, 90% of the comments regarding this lawsuit are horrified that this woman is getting sued for playing with her toys. Like, she bought the toys, she should be able to do whatever she wants with that. And it's like, that's just not the full story at all, and it literally takes like 2 seconds to look into it. However, I don't exactly blame some people, because look at the Daily Mail posting about this, and they're completely not giving the full story. People see an AI render of a demon standing next to a Labubu, and suddenly they're taking their children's toys and throwing them out the car window. Literally, I just saw that TikTok. Like, that actually happened.
Give me that. I hate it. Give it to me. This.
Critical thinking, people. Like, let's go. Come on. You're better than this. We're all better than this. Anyway, I feel and I fear that this might be a little bit of a controversial video. I feel like I talked a lot about my own thoughts, which is always really scary on the internet because people are really mean to me sometimes. I feel like I have my stances and then I change my mind if new information is brought to the table, or I'm very open to changing my mind on a lot of things. So anyway, that's about it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below if a Labubu is standing behind me right now. I'm too scared to look, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye!